Good deal.
Highly anticipated head-to-head.
Highly anticipated. The viewers have been clamoring for Prius content, as everyone is.
Welcome to Downshift, everyone. My name is Paulo, and to my left of me is my newly purchased Toyota Prius Limited Edition.
Your Prius. And here, we've been spending the week with the new Honda Civic Hybrid. And these two actually end up competing pretty closely. And yet not that closely, as we'll start to dig into some stuff. So we're going to cover everything that you need to know and how these two stack up.
Well, people like these lawn chair discussions, don't they?
People do seem to like the lawn chair discussions.
Yeah. Okay.
If any lawn chair companies want to sponsor the channel.
Yeah, I would like one. There's some dude at Costco that like
these
rock.
come off. Oh yeah, some of them have like pistons,
Yeah.
like shocks in them. Those are cool.
Okay, shall we start?
We shall.
You
Let's talk about engines. What's everybody here for? This is a Prius and a Civic Hybrid. Everyone's here to hear about the engine, the hybrid, and the fuel economy. So why don't you start?
Okay. Well, do you want me to talk about the Prius first?
Sure.
Okay.
Prius is yours.
It is mine. So it's a 2-liter hybrid, 196 horsepower in all-wheel drive and 194 in the front-wheel drive. 140 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60 in about 7 seconds, which is substantially better than the previous generation.
Yeah, big performance increases for this generation.
And then for the Civic, we have the 2-liter inline-4 2-motor hybrid system, 200 horsepower, 232 pound-feet of net power.
The most torques.
0 to 60 in about 6 seconds. And now we talk about the MPG. And I think before we share the numbers, let me just explain a few things.
Are we already making excuses?
No, I'm not making an excuse. I'm just giving some context for the viewers. So Matt has a 30-mile loop.
What do you mean 30-mile loop?
I was just explaining what it is. It's a 30-mile loop.
Yes, no, it's 10 miles of country road, 10 miles of highway, and 10 miles of city.
And I guess let's just preface this also with the Civic hybrid you can only get in front-wheel drive. The Prius, the one I got is all-wheel drive. You can also get front-wheel drive.
Yes.
I also have 19-inch wheels, which
sounds like a lot of excuses.
Has a reduction of 5 mpg to the advertised mpg. But for the Lakeshore test, I got 52.7.
At 38 degrees.
Yep, and the Civic got 52.9.
Yeah, we did.
I don't know what
the important thing
was.
The important thing to mention with the Civic is I did the test twice. The first time I did it was 8 degrees outside, and it came back with 45.6.
Yep.
So I did it again when it was 30 degrees, which was more obviously applicable to what the Prius ran in, and it came out 2.2 mpg better than the Prius. That's close enough to whereas it makes no difference. But the thing that's important to know is with this Honda system, and we see it with my wife's CR-V too, the hybrid is incredibly volatile to temperatures.
And so is this, though.
But this is way more, because I also have a RAV4. So like the Toyota hybrid system versus the Honda hybrid system, the Toyota system is much more resilient in cold temperatures. It stays more efficient.
You're saying the RAV4...
Honda swings way down in cold temperatures.
Because his wife drives the RAV4 and the CR-V to work, she'll switch off sometimes, and we'll have a cold front that lasts 3 to 4 days, and she gets noticeably better MPG in the RAV4 than she does in the CR-V.
I also did do another fuel economy test with. See now, where's our lawn chair sponsor?
Yeah, where are they?
Where are they? I did do another test with the Honda though. I did a highway fuel economy test because that's another place that I've been really disappointed in. Sadie's CR-V hybrid is highway fuel economy. So earlier this week, it was like low single-digit temperatures, and I had her take my RAV4 to work, and she got like 27.8 mpg, and it was like 4 degrees. And on that same morning, I did the same loop that she did. I basically drove to her work and back, and I got the same. I got 0.5 mpg better in the Civic. So in a small, compact sedan with front-wheel drive, got only half an mpg better than my big upright RAV4 with all-wheel drive.
Yeah.
So it's just the nature of Honda's hybrid system, since it is more like electrical leaning, it's more susceptible to cold temperatures, and it struggles more in cold temperatures.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's a good call
In
out.
warmer temperatures and around town, it's very efficient, it's very good, but in real world, all around, your whole net horsepower or net fuel economy experience is going to be better with the Toyota.
Well, and also
especially if you live in a place like this.
I did myself no favors with all-wheel drive in the 19s. I mean, if you get the front-wheel drive with 17s, you're going to demolish the Civic hybrid for sure in MPG.
I think that the important thing to mention too is like, we're talking about over 50 mpg in both cars.
Yes.
So that's still pretty good.
Which is great. Hard to complain about. Next up is driving experience. So I guess we can just give our takes on each of the cars. I'll go first with the Civic. I mean, it's definitely more of an engaging driving experience behind the wheel. It corners better. The steering inputs are better. It rides a bit firmer. I don't like the trim. I don't like the seats in this trim. I would definitely get the Sports Touring, which has the leather seats, and it's actually like, you know, it has the...
it's got like powered adjustments.
Yeah, the power adjusted.
Lumbar.
So without a doubt, it's a better driving experience behind the Civic. The Prius, the seats are extremely comfortable, and it's more of a cushy ride, I would say. It's not as engaging. You know, the steering inputs are a bit more numb compared to the Civic. And I don't love the dash, the half heads-up display, half dash. It's not really what I like. It kind of gets in my way sometimes. I know some people say it doesn't, just lower the steering wheel, but I don't like my steering wheel that low. But
we're long boys. We got a lot of leg and a lot of torso, so it's sometimes it's difficult to like get the steering wheel in a place that you can see it properly and still get in and out of the car without rubbing your knee on the wheel.
So I mean, like, to me, driving experience like wasn't top of my priority for this purchase. I really wanted...
Driving experience wasn't your main concern when you were buying a Prius?
Surprising. Shocking. I know. It was efficiency. Like, so to me, like, I like that, yeah, whatever, it drives better, but that didn't really mean anything to me. For me, it was like comfort, and then some of the other things we're going to talk about, and efficiency, obviously, but we'll kind of get to it. But those are kind of my takes on the driving experience.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree. I think just the nature of like Honda's 2-motor hybrid system, since it is more of like the engine feeding a generator of like into a 1 kilowatt-hour battery that then feeds the electric motors that drive the wheels, it's just inherently a little bit smoother and it's a little bit less loud. So it rides a little bit nicer. It also feels pretty planted. The steering feels good. The braking feels... It's Honda stuff. You know, Honda's kind of known for this stuff. It drives well. It's a Honda. It's supposed to. It's not like the Toyota's bad. Well, and I will say that the Prius system, it's a 2-liter, right, versus the 2.5 that's in the RAV4. I notice my RAV4, when the engine cuts in, when it goes from EV to then gas power, there's a noticeable torque kick. It's less noticeable in the Prius. Yeah,
it's not that noticeable here.
So they're close.
I will agree that the engine in here is obnoxious compared to the Civic. They do a really nice job, but I don't necessarily, like, to me that's a better powertrain experience, but like overall, I prefer that this soaks up bumps and it's a more comfortable ride. Sure. In my opinion.
Yeah, I kind of tend to agree. So yeah, if spirited driving is a top concern for you, Civic, but if just like casually getting to work, getting home, running errands in like the most comfortable and relaxed way possible, then maybe look at the Prius.
With efficiencies, yeah.
Sure, yeah.
So styling, I mean, obviously this one is pretty subjective.
Yeah.
I really like the Prius, obviously I got it, but like I like that it's unique. I really like the redesign. I like that there's not a lot of them on the road. I think they look really sleek, and I really like the color that I got as well.
I do get excited when I see them on the road. Somebody like around my neighborhood has one, and I see it every once in a while, and I'm like, that's cool. Yeah. It just looks good.
I think they look really, really good. And the Civic looks like a Civic. It looks like it kind of always has.
No. I think there's some people that will like that. You know, there's a camp of people that are like, oh, why does the EVs have to look like that? Why do the hybrids have to look like that? Let's just get like a normal looking thing and just make it hybrid. That's what they've done.
Yes.
And I think some people will like that. I think
it is
totally subjective. I like the way this looks. I like the way that looks in a different way.
Yes.
This looks like the sexiest computer mouse I've ever seen. It's just like the sculpted and then the...
Yeah, it does look like
no, I think it looks cool. I like it. So when they debuted this new generation of Prius, they debuted it in yellow. One of the press cars was yellow. And then you couldn't buy a car in yellow. Now you can get a nightshade Prius in yellow. And I was like, that would be the one that I want. But then I immediately thought, like, is that going to give off taxi cab vibes?
It kind of does.
Probably a bit.
Dude, I saw, because I'm part of
worth it.
I'm part of a Prius group on Facebook, and some guy got a nice one.
Part of a Prius group.
And
what happened to your life?
I don't know, dude. He had some really sick wheels that he did, like some nice brushed, I don't know if they were steel or aluminum or whatever, but they looked really, really good.
Yeah. No, I like the Prius. All Prius jokes aside, it's a banging car. It really is cool.
Okay, next up, trunk. So we have the hatch here.
Yeah, you can get a sedan in the Civic, but the hatch is the way to go.
definitely. 24 cubic feet, which is more than the Prius. In the Prius, you get 21. It's interesting. You get a lot of, the floor is pretty high in the Prius.
Yeah.
There's a lot of styrofoam storage underneath.
Yeah.
You don't get a spare tire. I actually meant to check. Do you know if you get a spare tire?
Nope.
Don't
Not
get
in
a
the
spare
Civic.
tire here either. So a lot of people kind of make their own makeshift spare tire. You can like cut out the styrofoam and put one in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is kind of weird how they use the space, but more space in the Civic.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a huge difference. It's like 24 versus like what, 21? So yeah, not a huge difference. You will lose a little bit of trunk space in the Prius if you go for the Prime, because obviously the bigger battery pack has to live somewhere, so it lives under the floor.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, they're both hatchbacks. I think yours is powered, your tailgate, right?
It is.
So yeah, you can't get, or at least we don't have it in the Sport. Maybe in the Sport Touring, but I doubt it, to be honest. So trunk for trunk, I mean, I guess, yeah, we give it to the Honda. And I also like the privacy cover, that like little kind of fold away one. Not fold away, but it kind of comes out accordion style. I like that.
I have one of those too. It's just not in right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're close.
Yep. Okay, next up is rear seats.
You can get more stuff in yours. Like you can get a panoramic roof in your Prius. You can get heated rear seats.
Heated rear seats, yes.
Do you have climate vents back there? There's no climate vents or chargers in the back of the Honda.
You don't get vents in the Prius either.
No, but you get chargers in the back.
Yes.
So you don't have that in the Honda. The Honda's okay. Like I have an inch or so of knee room and a little bit of headroom, but it's fine.
I feel like they both have better leg room than headroom, I'd say.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed for sure. That makes a lot of sense.
But I mean, it's not going to be fun in either one to spend a long car ride if you're over 6 feet.
Yeah, if you're over 6 feet, you're not going to have the best time over like half an hour.
And then I know some people say they have like issues bumping their head on the Prius in the front and the back, just with like how sloped the roofline is. I honestly haven't had an experience.
Do you remember like 2 years ago, we were shooting the last gen Prius and we were shooting like near your work down in the valley.
Yeah.
And I went to get in the car to talk about the back seat and I hit my head on the car. Yeah. I'll probably lay it in the video here, but. Ow! Oh my God. This doesn't bode well because I was going to talk about how spacious it was back here. I just hit my head and my face. Yeah, I do remember that now. I didn't remember it until you just said that. Yeah. No, I didn't. I have not hit my head on your car. I haven't hit my head on the Civic either. So I don't know. Rear seats are kind of a wash to me.
Yeah, I think it's slightly better in the Civic though. If we had a score, if we're scoring.
But then you can get heated rear in yours. So like it depends. Do you want more space or do you want more feature content?
Yeah. How tall is your family and friends?
Yeah. Make short friends. Short
and strangers. No.
Don't let strangers in your car. It's a bad
advice. Yeah, you're right. Let them in the front seat. Okay. Next up is cabin experience. So I think we should just compare it to the Sports Touring, like what you get there, right?
Yeah, so in the Sport here, you have cloth seats, heated seats, and that's about it. No heated steering wheel, nothing. But in the Sport Touring, you can get leather, power adjustments, heated steering wheel.
Yes.
No cooled, though.
You can't get cooled, which was a big reason why I got this. I do a lot of runs in the summer, and it's really nice to kind of cool off with the cooled seats. So you get cooled seats in this. You also get wireless Apple CarPlay in the Sports Touring. You do as well.
But not in the Sport.
Correct, not in the Sport. I think the biggest infotainment screen you can get in the Civic is a 9-inch.
Yep.
And in the Prius, it's like 12.2 or 12.3.
Yep. Also, the technology just like kind of, well, we're talking about cabin. We'll talk about technology in a second. But yeah, I think the cabin is a little nicer in the Prius maybe.
I just like, I was thinking about this more. It's like, I think I like the materials better in the Prius, but I think the dash makes it seem cheap. And
in the Prius?
Yeah, the Civic is just more of like a traditional cabin experience. Yeah. And I think it honestly maybe looks a bit more luxurious, but I think I like the materials and like the overall experience in the Prius more. I think
there's more pizzazz going on in the Prius too. Like you can get ambient lighting.
Yes.
You can't get ambient lighting here.
That is true. And so the ambient lighting actually has like a dual purpose where if the car in front of you pulls off, it'll blink at you.
Dude, I'm a sucker for ambient lighting. You could put ambient lighting on a potato and I'd be like, yep, I'll have it.
Same. Even if it's one color though?
100%.
Okay, cool. Because you can only get one color here.
Is it just the one color? Is it like the blue?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, it's not like it.
Yeah, same. Is there anything else about the cabin experience that we need to mention?
I mean, I don't necessarily think so. I think the ergonomics make sense for both. The cup holders are in the right spot for both. You can get wireless chargers. Like, it's pretty similar. It's going to be whatever your personal taste is, what you prefer. But I don't think anyone is like inherently better or worse than the other one.
Tech.
Tech, yeah?
So we kind of touched on it a little bit. We actually just talked about some of the things like sports touring. You can get wireless Apple CarPlay, so that's in both. Maybe I'll just mention things that are a little bit different. In the Civic, you can't get 360 cameras.
No.
In the Prius, it's an additional option that I wish I got because the camera that I have is like from an 09 Highlander. Like, it's not good. I really wish I got that. You can't get a digital rear view mirror in that, I don't think.
No.
But you can in the Prius.
Oh, really?
And I didn't get that, and I wish I did. I would recommend it. So
You do like a digital rearview mirror.
I do love it. Well,
You do like it.
especially if there's like tall people sitting in the back.
No, it makes sense, yeah.
Or
if you ever have stuff loaded up in the trunk.
Exactly. Like when
Yep.
we went to Minnesota, it was completely full, and I couldn't see out the back that way.
Yeah, that would be kind of frustrating. No, I think tech-wise it's the same thing kind of as we go up. I hate to keep talking about like my wife's CRV and my RAV4, but it's the same kind of thing. Like, you can get more stuff in the Toyota than you can with the Honda.
I think the
It's
last
just
thing,
more features.
the last thing I'll mention and give the W to the Civic is in the sports touring, you can get the 12-speaker Bose,
Yeah.
which I think is going to be better than
Do you have the JBL in yours?
8-speaker. I think it's a 10 or 8-speaker.
Okay.
8-speaker JBL, and
Yeah.
it's not as nice.
The JBL Toyota stuff is always kind of like,
Yeah.
it's all right. But then you go to the Lexus and then you get the Mark Levinson, and you're like, whoa,
That's what you really
that's
need.
good stuff.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
They've had a partnership with JBL for like ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Safety suite. So
Interesting.
why is that interesting? You wrote the script.
It's not interesting because I'm surprised by it. It's interesting in the sense that, like, I was surprised to see the Sport Civic Hybrid here with lane tracing assist, or like with lane centering.
Mm-hmm.
It works medium good.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I think there's two things that really stick out with the Prius for me. So this has the Safety Sense 3.0. I think it has better lane tracing assist than the Civic.
Does yours have the eyeball watcher thing?
No.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
I think generally the Toyota system works a little bit better. The Honda system's okay, but the Toyota system's just a little bit better.
Yeah, and then the other thing I'd mention is the Prius has proactive driving assist. So regardless of if you're in cruise control or not, sorry,
Bro, how dare this family have a good time?
this little kid just took out like 4 of his family members.
Yeah, what you guys don't know is there's a sledding hill right here. Only about half the hill has snow on it, but there's somebody sledding here, and one of the kids just took out the whole rest of the family.
Yeah, that was pretty good. All right, let me get this thought out.
Sorry.
Okay, so proactive driving assist. So it will provide gentle braking and steering to support help with the distance, even if the cruise control is off. So I thought this feature would be annoying, but it's actually come to be extremely useful already in 2 occasions within a month and a half of owning it. One was I was behind a vehicle and I didn't know that the taillights weren't working on it. And my car brake started to slow down for me because the car in front of me slowed down, and I really couldn't tell based on, obviously it didn't have any taillights going on. So that was really nice. And then there was another time when I was trying to enter the address of something, and a car in front of me slowed down a little bit, and it proactively slowed down for me as well. So it's a bit different than like crash avoidance, which the Civic has as well. It's like, you know, a car is 5, 6, 7 lengths ahead of you, it'll still proactively slow down to avoid you getting any closer, which I thought would be annoying. You can turn it off, but I actually really, really like it.
Yeah, BMW has a similar feature in their EVs, actually. I remember having some of that in like the i7 that we tested like a summer or 2 ago. And same kind of thing as you, where like initially I thought I'd be annoyed, but actually like it works in like a very non-intrusive way where it's not annoying. It's just like is kind of helpful.
And then the last thing I'll just say is like I think this is a better system. You get more. You also get more at standard. Like you can option with the sports touring on the Honda a bit more stuff, but you still get more with standard here. So I think that's pretty good on safety.
Yeah. Was there anything else? Price?
There is price. So Civic, $29,950 base hatch, $2K more than the base Civic.
Yeah.
Tops out at $32,950 with the sports touring hatch. The Prius LE starts at 28,350.
So less at base.
Yep, and the limited all-wheel drive starts at 36,765. So significantly more expensive.
Significantly more. But again, you can get a lot more stuff.
You get a lot more stuff,
Prius, and your real-world fuel economy is better.
And you get all-wheel drive.
Yeah. And then you get to say that you drive a Prius.
Exactly, which can be a pro or con depending on who you are and who your friends and family are.
That's true. That's very true.
A lot of people were shocked.
You gotta know what you're getting into.
A lot of people were shocked that I bought a Prius.
I was shocked earlier today when you were like, I gotta get smaller wheels.
Dude, I like my frame
wheels for better fuel economy. Who are you?
Yeah, I know. My frame of mind has just completely shifted.
The personal development and growth that you've experienced in 3 months
is rapid,
has been
and impressive,
astonishing.
I'm like bamboo in the summer in Japan. It grows like a foot a day, dude.
Is that common knowledge or am I stupid?
It's probably not common knowledge.
Well, thank you for explaining it then.
Yeah, you're welcome.
No, but you have made some great strides, I guess you could say.
Well, it just makes sense. It's like, you know, we drive fun cars. My wife drives a shorter distance, and she has a fun car.
That you get to drive.
That I get to drive when I'd like. Yeah. So it all works out.
Yeah. It
all works out. So I think, okay, so
anyway, yeah, back to the Civic and the Prius.
The last thing we really had was like standouts and which ones that you would buy.
Yeah, was there anything like that we haven't covered that really stood out to you? Like any little tiny nitpick that you found annoying or anything like that? Because to be honest, I found this to be like a pleasant, if not very vanilla experience where nothing really went wrong. It was just kind of good.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think there's any like small nip. I do wish that the panel roofs would open on the Prius. They don't.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah, that would be nice.
But outside,
you got windows for that.
Yeah. But no, outside of that, I think like outside of me wishing I got some additional features, it's whatever. I think just to like summarize it, I got the Prius because it has all-wheel drive and cooled seats. Those two things meant a lot to me, and I think it has a better safety system. So that's the reason I got it. But if you really want to prioritize your driving experience and you want something that's more engaging, that still gets really good fuel economy, I think the Civic Hybrid is a really good choice. I would just encourage you to get the sports touring. Yeah, no, I would agree. Actually, I would agree so much that I don't have anything else to say. So, thank you guys for watching. Glad to know that you're happy with your Prius. Leave it down in the comments what you would have between these two, or if there's something else that you would consider entirely. We'll see you in the next one. Sounds good. Later, guys.